Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Talent Connect. I'm your host, DJ Swing. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe at home. Thank you so much for supporting our launch episode with DJ Ivan. Your support means a lot to us. I'm so happy to present various talents from India and overseas through my show, Talent Connect. This is going to be one super cool episode. So let me introduce you tonight's special guest. He's Bangalore's favorite radio jockey. He's hosted some of the biggest dance music festivals. He's a radio show programmer and he's a handsome disc jockey as well. With no further delay, let's call the voice of the radios, the dashing host, and the rockstar DJ, Rohit Barker. Come on in. Hey Rohit, welcome to Talent Connect. I'm so happy that you're here, and a lot of our viewers want to know more about you. And finally, we connect. So tell me, Rohit, what do you think?
Thank you so much for having me, Swing. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, man.
Yeah, it's really so nice. Last week we had Ivan, and we got to know so many things about him, which I didn't know personally, and a lot of other people as well. So it was really informative.
Trust me, I can tell you a lot more about Ivan's little secrets and the skeletons in his closet than he would have told you on the show.
Not today. All right. Like I said, even for Ivan, a lot of people know that he's up there in the console rocking the show. That's it, they know. But nobody knows behind what really happens. So I want to start with you from the scratch, where I want to know everything about how you started, what you did, and how you come up still here. All right. So my first question is from where you're born and brought up.
Born in Bangalore, brought up mostly in Bangalore. So I do consider myself a through and through Bangalore boy.
Oh, that's a great thing. And can you tell me a bit about your childhood and college life?
All right. I went to school for the first 6 years of my life to Bishop Cotton Boys School. At which point, before I got to the 7th standard, I discovered girls and then wanted to go to a co-ed school. So I then went to Frank Anthony Public School from the 7th to the 12th, pass out of FAPS. And then went to Joseph's Commerce College. Technically went to Joseph's Commerce College because through 3 years of college swing, I did every single year was supplementary exams. I was never in class. I was rather a bad student. And the second year of being in college, I got picked up by Star TV, by Channel V. So I left to do that. Wow, and I came back a few years later and finished my commerce degree and then got a degree.
Oh, that's really nice to know. So how did you identify that you want to become a radio jockey?
Well, I grew up with music around me all the time, literally. My mom and dad are huge music buffs, so there was always a turntable in the living room. There was always big speakers and a big pair of headphones in the living room. So they've shown me pictures of me as a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old sitting in a beanbag with a huge pair of headphones on and actually taking records off and putting records on and all of that. So there was music around me all the time. And from a very young age, I always knew that I wanted to try and do something with music and possibly make that a living and make that my profession. I was lucky enough to do so. So as soon as I turned 16 years old, I went and auditioned for All India Radio. And
Wow.
yeah, way back when there was only 8-track and there was only vinyl and nothing else. So I did my first
Wow.
radio show ever with All India Radio when I was 16 years old.
Wow. That's amazing. So, you host your own radio shows. So, can you tell a little more about it?
Sure. I've gone through multiple incredible radio stations over my entire career. I started off, like I mentioned, with All India Radio. From there, I joined Channel V with Star TV as a VJ for a few years. Right
Wow.
after, right after that, the first private FM station was starting off in India, which was in Bangalore City, which was Radio City. So I had a
Yes.
friend that was setting that up. So they called and said, listen, we have to have you as the team because you've got radio experience. I left Channel V, came back to Bangalore, and was part of the core team that started Radio City in Bangalore.
Wow.
From Radio City, I joined Dubai FM in Dubai for a while.
Wow.
I went to Capital FM in London for a little while, came back to Dubai FM, came back to Bangalore with Radio City. Then Indigo launched, and I've been with Indigo 91.9 FM ever since.
That's really nice to know. So, when you were in Bangalore, so you used to play only international music. Back in Dubai, was it the same?
It was the same. I was one of the very few Indian radio jockeys in Dubai that was on an all English station in Dubai, which was an incredible station called Dubai FM, Dubai 92 FM, which was the first, again, one of the first radio stations in Dubai as well.
Wow, that's great. So, when you hosted your first radio show, did you get nervous?
I still get nervous. I still get nervous, Swing. I really do. I've been on radio now for 25 years, I think.
My God,
I still get nervous before every single radio show. I still get nervous before every single live show and DJ-led show that I do. I think it's still a good thing. If you're not getting nervous, that means you're not pushing yourself. That means you're not pushing your boundaries. So I
correct.
still get nervous, and that keeps me prepared. That keeps my adrenaline going, keeps me prepared to be able to sort of be the best showman that I can.
That's really amazing. So, when you host a radio show or an event, do you script it or you just go all out?
When I'm doing a live radio show, there are certain bullet points that I put down so that I know that I want to have this conversation or I want to have that conversation, etc., etc. But like what we're doing right now, it's completely unscripted. It's completely live. It's just off the cuff. I just like having conversations with people. So whenever I do a live radio show, it's never scripted.
Because I've heard you so many times, and when you start, you just go like a bullet. So, I've never been a host myself, and I'm doing it for the first time. It's so
You're
difficult
doing a
for
great
me
job. You're doing a spectacular job, man.
so it's so difficult for me to remember everything, and when I hear you, you just fly.
So there's a secret to that sort of happens to you unconsciously or after you've done it for years and years and years, which
Yes.
is what happens to me now is I'm thinking 2 words ahead of what I'm saying. So I very, very, very seldomly stutter and stammer and stop and don't know what I'm saying and where I'm going, etc., because I'm always thinking 2 words ahead of what I'm saying. So that's the little trade secret.
All the upcoming radio jockeys keep this in mind. So I'm going to dig out a lot from you so that they get some tips. Can you tell us something about Hot Mix with DJ Ivan? How you both program the show? How does it work? And you guys been running from 13 years, and it's the most best show of Bangalore. And I personally party whenever I'm not playing on a Saturday night, and I really love it. So tell me something about it.
Sure. The Hot Mix as a radio show has been on air over multiple radio stations for 20 years now. So that
Wow.
now makes us the world's longest running dance magazine show,
Whoa, congratulations.
which is something we're really proud of. It's something that we're really proud of to be because it's a Bangalore show and it's a Bangalore based show. So to have one of the longest running radio shows in the world ever is a double thumbs up to the Bangalore listeners. Ivan and me started working together again, very young age. I started partying when Ivan was playing music. Then Ivan was the official DJ with Channel V when I was a VJ with
Yes,
Channel V.
yes,
So we sort of got to know each other really, really well then. And it sort of spawned from there. Once I quit Channel V and came back to Bangalore, and I was part of the team to start up Radio City in Bangalore. Ivan and me went, we have to do a radio show together on Saturday nights, and we started that off as the club show on Saturday nights, and it's just been running every single Saturday night since.
yes.
So we make it a dance magazine show, and what we mean by that is you can sort of turn pages genre to genre, music to music, so we don't stick with one particular style of music over 3 hours. It's not just all
Correct,
EDM, it's not just all techno, it's not just
correct.
all tech house. We play
Yes,
a little bit of everything, so we sort of try and educate people across genres to be able to experiment with new sounds. Go, come on, this is also really cool music. Just listen to it. Trust us, you're going to like
mhm,
it. And a lot of people
mhm.
listen to it to be able to go from hip hop to tech house to Latin house to the underground to pure techno to EDM, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, whenever I hear the show, I get to hear so much of flavor, and it just keeps going. So I pick up a couple of beers or something, and I'm chilled
That,
with
that's
the radio
that's
show.
exactly that's what we want you guys to do. The whole point of the hot mix is it's your private little party. Just to get your gang together, get a few friends together, get a
Yes,
couple of drinks organized, crank it up on a big stereo system, and just enjoy it.
that's amazing. You're doing a fabulous job. Thank you so much
Thank you,
for
brother.
that, and we wish you all the best. So
Thank you.
you were hosting a radio show. Later, you started hosting dance music festivals. And how you got into it. I mean, from radio jockey to live events, being back in the studio, and now all of a sudden you're in front of so many people. So can you tell us a bit about it?
Well, when I was doing radio, I was also an MC. So I
Yes.
started doing radio shows and being an MC before I was a DJ. So while I was doing my radio shows, I was an MC as well. And the old Bangaloreans watching this will know places like B Club and all of that, and so would you.
Hmm.
Um, so I started hosting events at B Club. I remember the first time I ever hosted an event was at B Club, and there was some international boy band that was coming down swing. I don't know what it was called, Red Zone or Boy Zone. Or I don't freaking know. I don't even remember.
All right.
But there was some host that was supposed to come down from Bombay, some MC that was supposed to come down,
All
and
right.
he couldn't make it. And if you remember Alibai from V
Yes,
Club,
of course.
he and
Yes.
because people like me and Ivan and Nikhil and all that would party there so often, we all of us knew him very well. So he went,
Hmm.
Rohit, you got to save me. You got to go on and host this event. And I was like, I've never done this before. He went, no, 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 got to go do it. So I went, okay, let's give this a try. And I did it, and I liked it, and I enjoyed it. And that was the first time I ever hosted an event. So it sort of snowballed from there to hosting larger and larger events. And then once we started doing proper dance music festivals in India, I've been a host of a dance music festival every year since, I don't know, the last 10 years, 12 years now.
Correct. Correct. It's been a long journey. So you hosted some of the top international DJs. Okay. You performed with top international DJs, and you also hosted. So when you share a stage with them, can you tell your experiences? How does it go with you then?
When I first started getting onto really large stages with really large names, it was exhilarating. I was nervous. I wanted to make sure that because it was on home turf and it's my home ground and it's Bangalore and a Bangalore audience, that I wanted to make sure that everyone got the absolute best.
Yes.
But it was a huge learning curve as well when I first got onto the bigger stages, because I started experiencing how their tour managers would put things together, how their sound engineers would put things together, how the technicals would come together with the visuals, etc., etc. To be able to sit backstage with some of the biggest names in the world and actually talk about how they're structuring sets and what they're doing and crowd interaction that they do, etc., etc., was a very large learning curve for me as well. So I always made sure that besides having a good time at a large event, I was always soaking in information from these guys as well, so that I could use that information at my next gig.
Mm-hmm. So you host radio show and as well as the big festival. So what are the challenges you face? Like, see, when you're in a studio, you're in a closed enclosure, and all of a sudden you go onto a stage. So how do you manage to rock everywhere?
Well, it's for me, it's become thank you for saying that though. For me, it's just become second nature swing. It really has.
Yeah.
I make sure that I do my homework. So for instance, let's say if I'm hosting VH1 Supersonic and we know
Yes.
it's either a 2-day festival or a 3-day festival, I already know what the lineup for my stage is going to be on, or whether I'm going to be moving stage to stage and hosting multiple stages. I know exactly what the lineup is going to be. So there are some acts that I have heard and I know. There are some acts that I haven't. There are some acts that I know personally. So I always do my homework and make sure that I understand their music. I understand them as a person. I always introduce myself if I don't know them personally backstage, spend a little time with them. Once you've done that, then you can go on stage and actually talk to them because you know them now and you understand their music now, and you draw the rest of the crowd into it as well. After that, it's just me being the monkey that I am on stage and just bouncing around and having a good
I
time.
know about
So
that. So after being a successful radio jockey, how you got into DJing? Where did you learn your DJing? And how did this happen?
all right. So there are two people that I credit with that. One is because I spent so much time as a host and as a VJ with DJs and touring with people like Ivan, etc., etc.
Right.
Uh, Ivan and me used to tour India a lot for a couple of years with Channel V. If you remember, there used to be this really large format show way back then called Coke V Live with
Yes.
Coca-Cola. So we used to tour
Oh.
constantly. And after a couple of years of doing that, I sort of, because I was hosting and Ivan was DJing, and I used to watch what he was doing, I
Mhm.
knew after a year and a half or so exactly what every single little button and dial and fader and everything did. Um, and I was sitting one evening having a drink with Nikhil Chinnapap, and he went,
Mhm.
"Dude, both of us know exactly what goes where with the mixers, with the turntables, with there weren't
Correct.
CDJs then, et cetera, et cetera. You should start DJing." And I went, "Yeah, let's give this a shot." So it sort of came from Nikhil pushing me and going, "Dude, start DJing. You know you love your music. You've already got the technical sort of
Yes.
half good." So he pushed me to do that. And the second was just watching Ivan because I was hosting so many shows with him that I knew what went where and how, and I just started sort of playing with the equipment, and then it just came from there.
So you just saw and you practiced by yourself and you learned it.
Yep, yep, absolutely.
Oh, wow, that's really
And
amazing.
and you'll agree with me now. The guys that are doing this now with their master pitch controls and your
Yes.
CDJ Mark IIs and this and that, it's so much easier now. It's you
Yeah.
guys got to trust me. If you're an up and coming DJ, please don't do that. Start on a pair of proper turntables. Understand exactly what beat matching is. Understand exactly what keys are, what tempo is, all of that, and then when you graduate to your CDJs, it's easy.
That's an amazing tip. All the upcoming DJs, please note on this point. All right.
I remember you and me having those old Denon double tray little,
Yes.
and the
And I
pitch
still
bend, the plus and
remember,
minus pitch bends, and
yes. And I still remember one event where I was a DJ at Frank Anthony School and you were the MC. So that is how
okay,
I met you for the first time.
I
And
remember that. Yeah.
you were all over the place. So, and since being your own school, I think you had a great time doing that.
Always, I love doing school and college events, man. The most energy you get from anyone is from a school kid and a college kid who's just going crazy with the music.
So your first performance as a DJ, how did you do it? I mean, did you get nervous? Did you, because you're a master in radio jockey. So now all of a sudden DJ and you've just
Right,
learned
right.
straight away getting onto the console, facing the people, playing the music, and as well as talking, interacting. Tell me something about it.
For my absolute first gig as a DJ, I remember I was sweating buckets. I was nervous as hell. And I remember telling myself that, listen, I know I'm going to completely fuck up a couple of mixes, but just keep going, just fix it and keep going. And I remember I did for the first 2, 3 events, because you're nervous and you're wondering about sequencing and wondering about what to play next, and you're looking at the crowd and trying to get feedback from them and the whole 9 yards. That for my first 2 or 3 gigs, I remember that a few of the mixes were absolute freaking train wrecks. But once you sort of settle in and you get your groove and you get that vibe going, it just sort of flows. So I believe that even now, after doing this for years and years and years, I very rarely put together a set list and then play that continuously over multiple venues. I like doing it off the fly. I like feeding off what the crowd is feeling that evening, what the vibe for that particular evening in that particular venue is like, and then sort of making my set through that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So your hosting skills, did it help in DJing?
It did. It did hugely, because I'm sort of a triple threat that way. I get to play the music, I get to host, and I get to let people know about what's happening on the radio as well. So it helped me understand what I could do with my sets, because I understood people a lot more from the radio, and I was already playing music on the radio. So from playing that on the radio to playing it live in front of an audience, it gave me a slight edge to be able to understand how to get people to understand the music I'm playing and immerse themselves in the music I was playing.
All right. So your first gig, what was the crowd, and what is the highest crowd you played for later?
The biggest crowds that I've ever played for, and it is something that I'm really proud of, was the Swedish House Mafia, and getting them to come to India for one last tour.
Yes, I guess I saw that video. That is why I asked you this question. And you were playing, and the crowd was huge.
It was at that point, when they did come down, I think it was about 8 years ago, Swing, just
Yes.
under 8 years ago.
Yes.
It was a really funny story about how we got them down and all of that. But to be able to get Swedish House Mafia to include dates in India into one last tour, and then bring them
Yes.
to Bangalore as
Yes,
well.
that was epic.
And when they had issues with their private jet, and they were supposed to come to Bangalore on a Sunday, and that didn't happen, and we had to postpone to a Monday. And on a Monday evening in Bangalore, we had a head count of 31,000 people.
That was crazy. And I was
And that was
there in
8
that
years
event.
ago. Yeah. So that was just unreal. That still, with everyone that I've hosted for, with everyone that I've opened for, from Tiesto to Armin van Buuren to Hardwell to literally everyone. I've been lucky enough to either host a stage with or open for nearly everyone. I've been blessed to be able to do that. Still, to date, my favorite performers who would give you the absolute best performance and you would just go completely mental, the Swedish House Mafia.
Yes, yes, yes. No doubt, because I was there and I saw it. Now you host for a lot of international DJs. So do they gel, or like do they show attitude, or how they get along with you? I mean,
Initially, when the dance music space was still in its infancy in India, and some of the larger name DJs were going, is there really a crowd in India? What will they be like? What should I be doing? Da, da, da. When I first started hosting music festivals and hosting large scale gigs, I would always have to go through their manager, and their manager would talk to me and go, Barker, could you do this and not do that? Do you understand that you need to say this? Do you understand that you shouldn't say anything when he's mixing a track, etc., etc.? And I had to sort of reassure them and go, I've done it before. Don't worry. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing, etc., etc. Now, as the years have gone by, like I mentioned, because I've been lucky enough to play with a lot of DJs and host with a lot of DJs. A lot of their managers know me personally. I know a lot of them personally. They've heard of me which is great. So now it's Barker, it's Nikhil, it's etc., and everyone sort of gives us a hug, and they go, Barker, do your thing, because they know that I've either hosted with them before, or they know me personally, so they just let me run riot on stages right now. Which is why when you see videos of, if you are at VH1 Supersonic, MC Stretch and me pull off some mental stuff on stage, because
Yes,
we
I see that.
we know the DJs personally, so they just let us do it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So that was a lot of information we got to know about you, because the whole show we have designed in such a way that we want to know about you, because always we see you on stage, we hear you on the radio, but we don't know what happens. So thank you so much. We heard a lot of things and we know exactly how does it work now. So
My
big
pleasure.
respect to
My
you.
pleasure.
So
Thank you,
we'll
man.
little more things lighter now. So this round
Hmm.
is called Let's Get Naughty.
Okay.
Do you use your fame to impress a girl?
Well, let me put it this way. I am married to my childhood sweetheart. So
Yes.
no, my wife and I met when we were in FAPS, when we've been together since we were 16 years old.
Oh,
So
that's a long way. Yeah.
yeah, so I married my childhood sweetheart. So no, I've never used my fame to impress a girl. I've used my fame to score a free drink, but 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 that's about it.
Have you played any song to impress a girl? I mean, do you take request if some beautiful girl comes to you? Rohit, can you please play this? Have you ever played to impress them?
Um, One, I hate requests. I really do.
Yes.
If you've come to listen to a DJ, listen to the DJ. He's not your personal jukebox. So just respect the fact that he's doing a job as well.
Mm.
Don't take advantage of that. Having said that, if you come up and ask nicely, the DJ will either say yes or no nicely in return. There are some DJs that take requests, great, lovely. But I if you come up and ask me for a request that's already in line with the flavor or the style of music that I'm already playing, more than
Correct.
happy to try and fit it into my set somewhere. But if you come up and go, I want to listen to Justin Bieber and I want to listen to it now, I will show you exactly where the door is. You can bugger off.
That's really nice. So, do you look cool in front of girls while performing? I mean, yo types.
Not at all, man. No, I, honest to God, I'm just being myself. What you see is what you get. I'm not putting on an
Yes.
act. I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. I'm just being me.
And I've seen you while DJing, and so many people ask me this question to ask you. So this is my question, and as well as from the crowd. They say that while you're performing as a DJ, you never look here and there. You're so concentrated on the mixer. So you want to say something about it?
No, not really, man. Because if you and the next live event will happen soon. We're gonna dance again together soon. That's gonna happen for sure. I'm like a freaking energizer bunny on stage. I, honest to God, get really energized and pumped up by the music I'm playing, because I truly love the music I'm playing. I don't play music I don't like, which is why I don't play Bollywood, for instance. I've got nothing
Mhm.
personally against the music. It's just not my
Yes,
cup of tea. It's just not
yes,
my cup of
yes.
tea. So I just don't play that music. I only play music that I truly love, and I want other people to hear that music as well. So because of that, I'm bouncing around on stage. You've seen me.
Yes,
I
yes.
jump
I've
onto
totally seen you.
consoles with the mic in my hand. I'm dancing with the crowd. I've never been one of those DJs that sort of does this and just looks down into the mixer and just sort of stays there. I never do that. I like feeding off the crowd and the crowd feeding off me as well. I like that exchange of energy.
I hope everybody got the answer. So, do you use Shazam on any DJ sets, or you listen to any nice song? Do you use Shazam?
Um, no, really. I do a whole lot of homework um,
Hmm.
on the weekdays to be able to sort of deep dive into dance music and try and find those little hidden gems here and there.
All right. So, since Ivan is your partner in crime and you both are so close, do you borrow music?
I don't borrow music. I shamelessly steal. I shamelessly steal. And you'll hear it all the time on the hot mix. He will suddenly play this brand new Latin house tune that I've never heard before, and
I
I'm
know
going
you
and I
love
tell him,
Latin house music.
I love my Latin house. And I tell him flat out, once this track is over and you've mixed into the next track, say goodbye to that track. I am taking it. I'm just stealing it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, I mean, you're super busy and Ivan is super busy. So, how do you manage to, put up the show every week? How you program? How does it whole thing work?
Well, that's credit to Ivan, really. Ivan and me just talk about styles of music that we want to sort of evolve the show month on month, year to year into. But
Mhm.
Ivan is the one that does a whole lot of homework into putting together all the sets, and my job is to host the hot mix. On the hot mix, I'm the host, and Ivan's the DJ. So
Yes.
we've got very clear cut roles, and I'm the one that's always pulling the pranks on air and doing stupid
Yes.
things on air and mentioning stupid things on air, etc., etc. And Ivan's doing the DJing and trying to mix in while I'm pulling his pants off, for instance. So it's just that Ivan puts the music together, I host the show, and then it all comes together on air.
Yeah, it's a great show. I can see you guys chemistry while we're listening, and you're joking, and he's playing, and he's giving some information about the music.
Yep.
Overall, it's amazing. I really love it. So that was Let's Get Naughty. So we'll do a little bit of time pass now because I normally don't get to do that. Whenever I
Okay.
call you, I'm busy, swing, I'll call you. So today I caught you. So what do you do in your free time?
Man, as little as possible. My free time, because like I said, because I started when I was so young, and it's always been loud music. It's always been big crowds. It's always been crowded spaces, and that's been my professional life since I started. That whenever
Mhm.
I've got a little time free now, I make a beeline for the jungles. My happy
Yes.
space is in India's jungles. So I just go, and I love wildlife, and I just sort of decompress there. No noise, no crowds, no phone, no TV.
So I saw a couple of your videos and pictures. Amazing place. That's really nice. Who's your favorite Indian and international DJ?
Oh, that is a hard question. I've got a few favorites. I don't think I can say I have one favorite Indian DJ. I think there are a few people right now that are doing exceptional work. Some of my best friends are some of my favorite DJs. Internationally as well, um, technically, I think that my favorite DJ out there right now, because he is an absolute master. If you can ever watch him live on a console, please do, because he plays on a minimum of 4 decks, is Roger Sanchez.
Roger Sanchez is my personal favorite, and I met him personally when I was in London, and I saw him live. He was giving a demo for Pioneer. Oh my
He's
God,
unreal. He's unreal.
he's unbelievable. Seriously,
He is.
yeah, great choice. So, which is your first performance? Mhm. No, which is your first preference, DJing or radio jockey?
Oh man, it's a it's a mutual love affair, really. My love is just playing music and experiencing new music and getting people to hear that music that I love as well. So it's an even to and fro swing. It's just the same. I
Yes.
love on one side I love RJing because it's very one on one, and I
Mhm.
love DJing because it's in front of an energetic crowd.
That's really nice. Your one wish as a DJ?
Um, my one wish as a DJ would be for guest lists to disappear. I
I'm sure you
really
might be
would.
getting a lot of guest list.
I really would. It's the only place in the world where everyone thinks it's now a right, not just an experience. People treat it as a right now to be able to go, but why should I pay? I need to come in for free. You know what I mean? It's which nowhere else in the world is. I mean, you
Yeah,
pay to
of
see a
course.
movie. You pay to
Yeah.
you buy a movie ticket.
Yes.
Everyone buys a movie ticket. You're being entertained there for a few hours. You're being entertained
Yeah.
here for a few hours as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to get back into what we were way back when, where you actually
Yes.
paid an entry
Yes.
fee because there are people behind the scenes that are working really, really hard to
Correct.
make sure that you are entertained. So
Correct.
my wish as a DJ would be to scrap guest lists. No more guest lists.
Well said. Very well said. I hope everybody understand this point Rohit has put up. Uh, yes. So moving on forward, you like performing on big stage or a nightclub?
Oh, nightclubs, man. I like
Seriously, I
grimy.
thought the other way
Yeah, I
around.
like no. The big stages are very exhilarating, and you're in front of 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 people for a little while, and that's great. But when you're in a small, tight nightclub with
Yes.
really good sound,
Yes.
and you get that intimate vibe going, that is unbeatable. That's the stuff that magic is made of.
Really well said. Really well. Even I feel the same. So your future plan as a DJ or RJ, what is your future plans? Are you planning
My
to come
my
out?
my future plan is to possibly become a stripper in Australia. Stop laughing. I
So,
can do it.
so
No, I'm kidding.
you're becoming naughty now.
No, my future plans is to just play music and get to share that music with as much people for as long as I can.
That's really great. All right, so we are running short of time, so I'll move forward to some quick questions. Okay, few
Okay.
tips for upcoming DJs, okay, and RJs. So, what are the basic things upcoming DJ should work on, according to you?
Um, their music, plain and simply. If you're going to get into it because of you think you can be famous, or you're hungry for the fame, if you're hungry for the spotlight, or if you're hungry for the attention, or if you're hungry for the money, you're not going to make it. You're just not. You'll be a flash in the pan. You'll arrive and you'll be gone as soon as that as well. You've got to get into it for the pure love of music. If you've got that intrinsic love for music and then you want to share that music with other people, that passion is what's going to keep you going for a long, long time.
Very well said. Very well said. Music is the one point where everybody has.
Absolutely.
That's very well said. That's very well said. So, any suggestion for artists during this lockdown period?
Yeah, keep your chin up. It's a hard time for everybody. I firmly believe that we will dance again, and we will dance again together soon. Use this time productively. Experiment with your music, play with new sounds, see what else is out there, get back in touch with what you were really passionate about. I know there are a lot
Right.
of DJs out there that play music because they need an income for that particular weekend, or they need to play a
Yes.
particular style of music because a venue owner or a programmer have forced them into playing that particular style of music. You've now got
Yes.
the time and the space to consolidate and get back to what your real passion was, whether that was hip hop and
Perfect.
R&B, whether that was tech, whether that was house, whether that was progressive, whether it was underground techno, whatever it might be. Get back into that space, start putting out sets on social media, get back into being passionate about what you really started with.
Yes. Very well said. Very well said. Rohit, you're one of the most experienced radio jockey of Bangalore. You want to give some tips for upcoming radio jockeys or MCs, or you want to give any
Sure.
tips to them? To them.
Again, do it for the love of music, because you're you're still a disc jockey. You're still a radio jockey is just a phrase that we've coined here, but everywhere else in the world, you're still a disc jockey. You're still jockeying music up and down.
Mhm.
So your core job is still to play music. So it's still a love of music. it's still having the gift of the gab, it's still being well informed, and it's still the love of wanting to talk to other people and have conversations. So if you've got those traits in you, then give it a shot.
Perfect, perfect. So one last question before we wind up. Tell me what good.
No, I haven't done porn. Those were fabricated videos.
Tell me one good and bad things happened to you during this lockdown.
The good thing that's happened to me is that I got to spend a lot more time with family, which is great.
Yes.
The bad thing that's happened to me is I'm a very anxious person, and my anxiety levels have gone through the freaking roof. So that isn't fun.
Thank you so much, Rohit. It was really amazing talking to you, and thanks for accepting my invitation. And we got to
My
know
pleasure.
so many things about you, which I really didn't know, and a lot of other people also didn't know. So we got to know your personal life and your professional life, how you handle things and all. So it's really amazing. So thank you so much. So before
Thank you,
we
brother.
sign out, we will soon update about our next upcoming talent very soon. And I would also like to thank my tie-ups, PIXADOO and C Clock. They really supported a lot to put up this show. And thank you so much once again. Please subscribe to our channel to get all the updates first. And thank you, Rohit, once again. We love you. Keep up the good work, and see you soon.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you. See you soon.